Okay, so quick updated video for this. As you can see, I don't know if it focuses too well, but this has actually got some cork pads that this sits on. So, and it's like a metal kind of rim to hold this in place. So what I've done essentially is I've cleaned it with the solution of IPA and deionized water that I've got. I think I used about 1:5 in there. I hasten to add that is not Specsavers fluid. Okay, that is not Specsavers lens fluid. Please do not use that on this. I've just really taken a squeezy bottle after I've used it. I've cleaned it out thoroughly using deionized water and IPA, and I've made the mixture out of that. So that is not Specsavers lens fluid. If you're foolish enough to use it, that's your fault. But I'm just saying I'm not using it. It just happens the label's still on there. Anyway, I've decided not to go with the Zeiss fluid on this, although I could have done. I just felt that the other one was a bit more purer. So essentially what I've done is I've cleaned this off using PEC pads. So I've brushed it off with a standard Celestron brush, you can see down there, and I've used a blower. One of the things I did notice was the amount of rubbish that was sort of around the rim that fell back into the tube. So clearly you don't want that back on the mirror afterwards. So what I've done is I've gone into the assembly with a hoover, the Henry down there, and just giving it a quick hoover on the inside, being very careful. I did use the blower, the handheld blower that you can see down there, but I noticed that was just blowing it into the corner, not really getting it out, and coupled with the brush and that. I mean, it's a great idea, that blowing dust out of the way, but I needed the hoover really just to make sure that no dust was going to end up being left in the tube. So what I've done, a couple of things, is I've made sure that I've kept the corrector plate kind of perpendicular to the horizontal to prevent any dust from falling into the mirror. That's worked quite nicely. I've had one latex glove on, but when I've been cleaning inside there for obvious reasons. I found it dividends using latex gloves, and it's also paid dividends wearing my mask, because obviously clearly you don't want to be breathing all over your optics while you're trying to clean them. So what I've done now is I have put the assembly back on and lined up the blue marker you can see on the corrector plate. Do not worry about that, because it's going to be covered up by the gasket anyway. I'm not so sure what they call it in the Astro world, but that's the rim that says Mead, F10 and all the rest of it that is going to be stuck back up there. My finger has been held against it, because while I don't think that's going to fly off onto the table and possibly on the floor, I do not fully trust it. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm now going to put this camera down. Unfortunately, I cannot film as I go, and then I'll come back to you. But hopefully, I've extended the life of this thing, and I think what you need to be aware of now is don't be afraid to take the collimator plate, the corrector plate off. Don't be afraid to take that off, but make sure it goes back in the right sort of orientation to minimise on correlation after. Because if you knock this out of collimation, then you're going to need a star to bring it back into collimation. So you really want to avoid that as much as possible. But hopefully I've extended the life of this. One thing I'm happy about is I've managed to get rid of some old archival stains that have irritated me. They've lived behind the back of this plate for literally a decade, and I've been able to come in and clean them. I have pretty much tried to use the blower as much as possible, and obviously the brush first to get any dust off, and then I've used the solution down there with the PEC pads, which you can see down there, to clean off. They do say you can use cotton balls, and yeah, fair enough, you can try them, but when I've used them here, all I've had is fragments of cotton wool all over my optics after I have cleaned them. So you don't want that. So you know, if you can get somewhere where the cotton doesn't come off, then good luck to you. But the ones I've got don't work that way. But the PEC pads have been fantastic. I have got through half a rainforest of them. But then that's the game you're playing, because it's cheaper to get another box or packet of them than it is to buy another collimator plate. So I've left this to dry a tad, and I've been holding it here ready to screw it back into place. So what I'm going to do now is, and as I'm holding the phone, I can't readily do it while I'm recording, so what I'm going to do is put the phone down in a bit and screw this back into place. But the methodology I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in the top part, then I'm going to put a bolt in at the bottom one. Then I'm going to go left and I'm going to go right, and a bit like putting the bolts back on a car wheel. That's what I'm going to play it here. So gently, then slowly screw them back up. Some people might think that's overkill. To me, I think it works best that way. And I'm going to make sure that I get that I'll get the gasket back on. So it's hopefully good for viewing. Tonight, yeah. Well, I won't be holding my breath, but hopefully I'm excited here, guys. This has been a bit of a pain in terms of its stir. Some people have been thinking it's been affecting my imaging slightly. So that has now been cleaned off, and I've got the confidence to go back in to do it again if I need to. But please note, I have not touched either mirror. I have left them totally be. I won't even put a brush on the mirror, on the secondary mirror in this. I've just literally used the puffer to blow any dust out, and I've taken the Henry Hoover, holding it at a distance to suck off any artifact rubbish. And I have to say that did work. So that's cleaned it as good as it's going to be cleaned. So anyway, without further ado, because I've got the kids coming home shortly, I'm going to seal this back up and we'll see how she flies. And I hope this has been of help to you guys. Cheers.